All right, folks, my name is Jamie Satterfield, and I'm with KnoxNews.com. Today, I'm covering the trial of Joel Guy Jr. He's a 32-year-old man who's accused of killing his parents in the Hardin Valley community and chopping up their bodies and trying to dissolve their bones, essentially to try to make them disappear. And the state's allegation is that his parents had been paying his bills for years, and it was sucking them dry. They were tired of it, and they planned to tell him so. And he came to visit for Thanksgiving, and the state's theory is that he figured out that they were going to cut him off, and he decided to kill them. That's what Prosecutor Leslie Nasios outlined today in opening statements. This trial is being held in Knox County Criminal Court. Judge Steve Sword is presiding. We have a jury of 12 folks and then 4 alternates. All the jurors are masked and they are socially distanced. And if you can see at all a shot of Joel Guy, you will see that he is wearing a mask. It's clear so that the jury can see his face. This morning we had opening statements, and the real shocker came in opening statements because for the first time, Prosecutor Leslie Nasios confirmed that Joel Guy had a notebook that they found in a bedroom of his parents' home in which he outlined the steps that he needed to take to carry this out. And one of the reasons I've got on my glasses is I'm going to read some of this to you. It says, for instance, get killing knives, quiet. He's thinking about noise there for some reason. Get sledgehammer, crush bones. Bring blender and food grinder, grind meat. Get plastic. Get rid of bodies inside house. My DNA is already there, so he was thinking about covering up already, according to these notes. This one got me. Flush chunks down the toilet. Get plastic sheeting for the disposal process. Flee the home. He wrote that down. Turn the heater up on high as it goes. Bleach. He talks about using bleach that will monkey with some of their forensics. He wrote, body gives time of death. Then he puts an arrow, alibi. He writes his fingerprints and DNA. And that's going to reference another page here where he talks about using his own father's hands to create fake evidence, essentially, is what he's saying here. He cut off, the allegation is that he cut off his father's hands. And so his plan was to kind of use his father's fingers to plant fingerprints in this scene. And the other thing that was really interesting about that was he was going to take his mother's hands and I guess scratch them across his father's body so that her DNA, his father's DNA would be under his mother's fingernails, perhaps incriminating the mother in some kind of murder-suicide. Some other things he says in here, place her in the shower, talking about his mother, turn on hot water, and point at her to get rid of forensics, remove her clothes, and take them with me for disposal. Cut off his arm and plant the flesh under her fingernails. Place her head with his DNA, or her hand with his DNA, so that his DNA is not washed away by the shower. That's how meticulous these notes are. It spans 2 pages of handwritten notes. And this was new, at least to the public. Prosecutors, of course, and the defense knew this was coming. I did not, so you could have knocked me over with a feather, frankly. I've never seen this in a case. I've never seen somebody write down in such detail their plans for a double murder, particularly of the defendant's own parents. And I will say this too, we did have opening statements from the defense, Mr. Guy is being represented by the Public Defender's Office in Knox County. And former Knox County Public Defender Mark Stevens, who retired in December, has stayed on this case anyways. He's basically working for free. And I can tell you that's in large part because Joel Guy likes to work with Mark, and Mark's able to do some client control that perhaps some of the other lawyers can't do. I was eager to see what the defense would say in opening statements to give us a sense of what the defense may be. I thought at first that perhaps they would try to argue against premeditation. Well, this notebook takes that away. So really, the defense's opening statements were very brief. It was, thank you for being here, that you might find some reasonable doubt if you listen closely, and thanks again for being here. And that was the end of the defense's opening statement. So really, they appear not to have a defense. So when you hear these entries in the notebook, it's very easy to see why. Now, you may say then, well, why are we going to trial? Well, the state is not offering Mr. Guy any kind of plea deal. They're not seeking death, but they are seeking life with the chance of parole after 51 years. And one can imagine that a judge might want to stack those two if he's convicted of 2 counts, one for Lisa Guy, one for Joel Guy Sr. So he's not, if he's convicted, he's not walking out of prison alive anyway. So that's the main reason we're going to trial. There's nothing for him to plead to except to plead straight up to the charges, which are first-degree murder, felony murder, and abuse of a corpse. And of course, he's not going to plead guilty. That's just not going to happen. So we're here. We're in trial. We expect that this trial will last about a week. I am tweeting live from the courtroom. That's at Jamie Scoop. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll be doing these live updates every day about this time of day. And we'll also do some written coverage for you toward the end of the trial. So I hope you stick with KnoxNews.com. We are streaming this trial live. And folks, I've been covering courts for 30 years, so I'm going to give you some straight up analysis using plain old common English. So tune in every day for these updates. If you want to watch the trial, KnoxNews.com. And that's all I've got. I've got to get back in the courtroom. So thank you.